Hello and welcome to the Week in Review. This is the show that brings you up to date on the week that was. Here are the top stories. Ayodhya verdict seeks compromise and streets return to normal. Satyam unveils disappointing numbers for 2 fiscals. And residents of a little village get India's first unique identity card. All eyes on the Ayodhya judgment this week. On Thursday, the Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court ruled that the disputed site would be divided equally between Hindu and Muslim groups. The Hindu denomination Naromi Akara, the Sunni Waqf Board, and the Hindu Mahasabha will get 1/3 of the land each. Not surprisingly, the Sunni Waqf Board is unhappy. It's going to go to the Supreme Court to challenge the verdict. And the Hindus' Mahasabha is going to make its own appeal as well. And guns blazing. Security was tight across the country on Thursday in anticipation of the verdict. Some 200,000 cops were on patrol in sensitive areas, including in cities like Mumbai. Lucknow itself resembled a city under curfew, with shops and businesses closed down and cops sometimes outnumbering residents. But life in the city got back to normal on Friday, with schools reopening and businesses carrying on as usual. Meanwhile, political reaction to the Ayodhya verdict has been mixed. BJP leader L.K. Advani said the decision paved the way for the building of a grand temple at the site. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat agreed, though both leaders called for people to remain calm. The Congress, meanwhile, said the judgment ought to be welcomed, but added that aggrieved parties should go to the Supreme Court. And moving on to this week's other big court decision, this time on the Vodafone tax case. On Monday, the Supreme Court threw out Vodafone's plea to stay a judgment from the Bombay High Court and also gave authorities until the 25th of October to calculate Vodafone's exact tax liability. Earlier, the Bombay High Court had effectively given India's Income Tax Department jurisdiction over Vodafone's deal to buy Hutchison's Indian operations. And income tax officials swung into action within hours of the Supreme Court ruling. The Central Board of Direct Taxes announced it would levy a tax of 12,000 crores or more on Vodafone. Meanwhile, the company continues to maintain that its $11 billion deal to buy Hutchison SR is not subject to tax. And in corporate, the moment Satyam investors were waiting for left them a bit disappointed. On Wednesday, it declared its earnings for fiscal years 2009 and 10. Its net loss for 2009 stood at 8,177 crores. That's on a revenue of more than 8,800. Satyam did better in 2010 with a net loss of 125 crores after a revenue of nearly 5,500. Meanwhile, the company's numbers came 20 months after Chairman B. Ramalinga Raju admitted to involvement in the biggest accounting scandal in India. The company's current management said it plans to complete Satyam's merger with Tech Mahindra after November. It added that the company would take another 2 years to recover. Just the previous Friday, Satyam had announced it would delist its American depository receipts from the New York Stock Exchange. And in other news, the RBI has approved an idea that could finally bring banking services to millions of new customers. On Tuesday, it gave the green light for companies to deploy so-called business correspondents. They'll act as intermediaries between banks and their new rural customers. The RBI's guidelines also allow NGOs, cooperatives, and even post offices to send out business correspondents of their own. Left out of the new opportunity are non-banking financial companies. The RBI believes authorizing them could cause conflicts of interest. NBFCs, of course, include microfinance institutions that already lend money in rural India. The proposed business correspondents will raise deposits, lend money, recover bad loans, and sell insurance and other products. And college admissions in India could be transformed. On Wednesday, central universities decided to hold a common entrance test for students nationwide. Students will be admitted based on a common test and 12th class exams. The system will come into place next year. The universities also decided to make migration easier with a new credit transfer system. Education Minister Kapil Sibal said the move would not affect the autonomy of centrally funded universities. And what's more, some universities like BHU and Jamia Millia will still be able to maintain their one-of-a-kind admission procedures. And here are some stories in brief. Reliance Communications has resumed its efforts to sell off a 26% stake in its telecom towers business, Infratel. Chairman Anil Ambani said his company was again talking to investors about a potential deal. Earlier, Arcom had tried and failed to clinch an agreement with GTL Infrastructure. And the first unique identification cards have finally been issued. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Congress President Sonia Gandhi arrived in the little village of Tembli in Maharashtra to hand out the first cards. Officials have already started collecting biometric information from hundreds of Tembli residents. And you can finally buy yourself Mojo. Mahindra & Mahindra may be best known for its utility vehicles, but the company has now unveiled two brand new motorcycles. Vice Chairman Anand Mahindra unveiled the Stalio and the 300cc Mojo in Mumbai this week. The Mojo will sell for about 1.75 lakh. And that's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching.